And this is a topic that has made headlines for decades, lead exposure. And now as the Environmental Protection Agency makes a push to improve the quality of drinking water, some say the federal effort to replace all lead service lines doesn't go far enough to protect students.
Lead exposure is one of the most common reasons for induced developmental delay. So in other words, if a child's exposed to lead, it could end up being the child having developmental delay in the future.
Channel 11's Nicole Ford shows us how local school districts are tackling the problem while the state pushes for stricter laws.
Butler Area School District is no stranger to problems with lead.
Fortunately, there was a well water at one of our elementary schools that was eventually determined to have high levels of lead.
That crisis led to big changes at the school district, including annual testing and remediation, as Superintendent Brian White wants transparency to be at the forefront of this problem.
Anything involving children, parents want to know what's going on, and particularly around health and safety matters, they want to be able to make decisions about what's happening with their children.
But that's not the case across the board. In a report card by Penn Environment, Pennsylvania received an F for the policies in place when it comes to lead in schools.
So while Pennsylvania has a few laws on the books that are very weak, and so weak they sometimes become misleading about testing and sharing the results, there's nothing about solutions that are required to protect kids.
Although few schools have taken it upon themselves to find that solution, Pittsburgh Public Schools has spent the last 8 years taking a filter-first approach.
Given the wide use of plumbing products, such as lead-containing solders, in building, construction, and renovation industries until recently, we determined that the most effective, feasible, and best available technology to provide clean water that is free of lead and other contaminants is to provide filtered drinking water fountains.
The $5.5 million project was just completed with 948 filtered water fountains, 411 bottle filling stations, and 188 filtered drinking outlets at select sinks like early childhood and nurses' offices.
This is our lead filter that is in all of our water fountains.
It's a standard that has now become state mandate in all Michigan schools following the Flint water crisis.
If it's scientifically better, who might oppose it? My question was who's paying for all the filters, because there's got to be a cost to that. And a lot of school districts don't have the capacity even to switch to fixtures with filters. We are fortunate enough that we have in many cases, but not all of ours yet. We're still progressing.
That's the holdup in Pennsylvania. Currently, bipartisan bills for both the Senate and House are sitting in the Education Committee that would require schools to at least replace old drinking fountains with lead filtering stations in the next 3 years. The hope is to get grant funding to help get the schools to the goal.
Cost is always a barrier. Anytime that you pass these laws, we don't want to put unfunded mandates on any school district. So we have to come up with what we estimate to be about $30 million in the budget. So we have to find that money.
Now, will it happen is ultimately up to the lawmakers in the Capitol. Nicole Ford, Channel 11 News.